Every detail is a feast for the eyes, says Andreas Golds. Golds, who resides in Göttingen, has an impressive collection spanning nearly every model and year. Among them, one car stands out, an accidental discovery 30 years ago that has captivated him ever since. What makes this vehicle truly special is its extraordinary design. The flowing lines and overall harmony of its form are unmistakable. You can tell immediately that its designer was no typical automotive engineer but rather an artist. The design captivates from every angle, starting with the freestanding headlights at the front. The sleek, streamlined rear ends gracefully with raised indicators. And then there's the bold use of color. Until the DS arrived on the market, most cars were painted in subdued shades of black or gray. But the DS brought an explosion of creativity. Pastels, vibrant reds, blues, greens, yellows, and even pinks became available. This daring palette was perfectly in tune with the car's unique design, making it stand out as one of a kind. Whether in sedan or convertible, the DS was revolutionary, not just in appearance but in its engineering as well. Citroën introduced groundbreaking technology with the hydropneumatic suspension system. This system brought the car to life in a way no one had ever seen before. At rest, the vehicle appeared to lie flat on the ground. But when the engine started, the car would gracefully rise, sometimes lifting at the front first, other times at the rear. It seemed almost alive, moving in ways that defied explanation. The DS debuted on October 6, 1955, at the Paris Auto Show, and it was an immediate sensation. Crowds flocked to see this extraordinary car, which redefined conventions. Where other vehicles had a brake pedal, the DS featured a simple button. Its futuristic dashboard was made of plastic, not the usual metal or wood. Hans Otto Meyer-Spellbrink, an expert on the DS, has studied its history for decades and written extensively about it. Back then, almost no details about the car leaked before its unveiling, he explains. Everything was kept secret until the grand reveal at the Paris Auto Show. When it was finally shown, it was nothing short of a revolution. Every newspaper covered it, and crowds swarmed around the car. When the Citroën DS first appeared, it was unlike anything the world had ever seen. Newspaper reports from the time described scenes of astonishment. On its debut, crowds reportedly followed the car, calling out in amazement at its futuristic design. The French roads had a new object of desire, the Citroën DS. On its very first day, an astonishing 12,000 orders were placed. The car wasn't just revolutionary in appearance, it became a cultural icon. What better symbol of this era than pairing the DS with Gina Lollobrigida, celebrated as one of the most beautiful women in the world? It was a moment of national pride for France. Yet, despite the overwhelming demand, production at Citroën's Paris plant struggled to keep up. Customers faced waiting times exceeding a year. Still, they were willing to wait, drawn by the car's unparalleled innovation. Remarkably, the DS was priced competitively, no higher than other vehicles in its class. Driving the DS is described as an uplifting experience. Owners, like Goltz, reveled in its design. The car offered excellent visibility, thanks to its slim A-pillars and curved windshield. Its long wheelbase and narrower rear track allowed for smooth cornering, complemented by an efficient engine consuming just around 10 liters per 100 kilometers. Impressive for a 75 horsepower engine in a car of its size. But the true magic lay in its comfort. The DS was renowned for its hydropneumatic suspension, which provided an unmatched smoothness, as if the car floated effortlessly over the road. It absorbed bumps with ease, delivering an almost surreal quietness and comfort. Passengers often likened the experience to sitting on a luxurious sofa. Of course, this suspension had its quirks. The hydropneumatic system, based on nitrogen and oil-filled spheres replacing traditional springs and shock absorbers, could lead to noticeable body roll during cornering. Still, the overall ride quality more than compensated. It was a sensation best described as driving like God in France. The advanced suspension system also enhanced safety. With 3/4 of the vehicle's weight concentrated on the front axle and the sophisticated damping provided by the hydropneumatics, the DS boasted excellent road stability. However, the DS's groundbreaking technology came with its challenges. The hydraulic fluid, critical to the suspension, proved aggressive to seals, causing maintenance issues. One of the many benefits of the system was evident even in routine maintenance. For example, when changing a tire, the DS's hydraulic pneumatics were indispensable. The process, however, involved an unusual step, removing the fender. Luckily, this was a straightforward task, as the fender was secured with just one screw. Once removed, the car's hydropneumatic system lifted the vehicle, providing access to the wheel. By releasing the pressure, the car effectively lifted itself, allowing for a seamless tire change. It was an ingenious solution, further showcasing the DS's ingenuity. At Citroën's conservatory near Paris, the legacy of the DS lives on. The facility houses vehicles spanning nearly a century of the company's history. Among the exhibits are predecessors like the Traction Avant, with its upright radiator grille and traditional design. In contrast, the DS represented a complete departure, streamlined, flat, and futuristic, yet still offering unparalleled comfort. One standout artifact at the conservatory is the oldest surviving DS, a pre-production model bearing the faintly visible number 31 in its engine compartment. Guillaume Keller, a historian specializing in automotive history, explains the origins of the DS's creation. In 1934, Citroën partnered with Michelin and began developing a successor to the Traction Avant. Originally conceived as a car for the masses, the project was codenamed Project D. Post-war ambitions reshaped the vision. The goal was now to create a car for the masses that was as luxurious as the Traction Avant. Several prototypes emerged, leading to the final name. The addition of S to D indicated the plural form, but in French, the result, DS, phonetically resembled the word déesse, meaning goddess. This balance was a core element of its mystique. Development of the DS was initially interrupted by the war. Plans were shelved, and it wasn't until after the war that progress resumed. Early sketches from April 1945 revealed the foundational shape of what would become the DS. It would, however, take 9 more years of refinement to finalize the design. One challenge emerged late in development: the rear passenger space was insufficient due to the car's low roofline. The solution was to raise the roof slightly, but this adjustment left a visible gap between the roof and rear window. To conceal this, an innovative indicator design was introduced. Positioned on the roof, these indicators turned a design compromise into a distinctive and charming feature of the DS. The car's pioneering design was matched by its cutting-edge technology. Flaminio Bertoni, a sculptor and painter by training, was the creative genius behind the DS's aesthetic. Bertoni had already made his mark with Citroën's Traction Avant, but took his revolutionary ideas even further with the DS. He envisioned a vehicle with long, flowing lines that conveyed a sense of motion even when standing still. The result was a car that felt like a work of art. Its hydropneumatic suspension allowed it to glide over roads with unmatched smoothness, and it could handle adverse conditions with remarkable resilience. The DS could even drive with flat tires, up to 2 of them, and still remain stable and in control. It was a car that truly set a new standard, embodying both beauty and practicality in a way that no other vehicle of its time could match. It could manage feats unheard of in other vehicles, including traveling without a 4th wheel entirely, an attribute that proved life-saving for President General De Gaulle. In August 1962, an assassination attempt unfolded in a small town south of Paris. Terrorists ambushed the unarmored presidential car, riddling it with bullets and blowing out 2 tires. Remarkably, the DS's unique hydropneumatic suspension and robust design allowed the driver to accelerate and escape despite the damage. This miraculous escape saved de Gaulle's life. From that moment, de Gaulle insisted on traveling in an armored DS. Luxuriously outfitted, the vehicle featured a soundproof partition for confidential discussions. However, the communication between the president and his secretary proved challenging. Without a microphone in the front of the car, an unconventional solution emerged. Messages were written on paper, dropped into a hatch, and retrieved from a box in the rear by the president. A simple yet ingenious system to match the DS's inventive spirit. The DS wasn't just a symbol of safety and luxury, it also excelled in the world of motorsport. Citroën aimed to make its mark in rally racing, shortening the wheelbase for improved agility. The car's hydropneumatic suspension provided exceptional stability and control, even in the toughest conditions. On treacherous off-road terrain, the DS thrived where other vehicles faltered, further enhancing its reputation for reliability. Andreas Goldzug, a passionate collector from southern Baden, embodies the enduring admiration. Restoring vintage models himself, he treasures the vehicle not only for its historical significance but also for the groundbreaking engineering that make it a masterpiece. Andreas Goldzug knows every screw of his beloved DS, aware that much of its design wasn't a seamless master plan but rather a series of ingenious solutions to unexpected challenges. One of the most striking anecdotes from the DS's development revolves around its engine. Initially, Citroën engineers envisioned revolutionary new engines, including 2- or 6-cylinder boxer engines with air or water cooling. However, both designs fell short of delivering adequate power. As launch day loomed, the team turned to a reliable standby, the engine from the earlier Citroën Traction Avant. The adaptation wasn't without problems. For example, there was no space to access the 4 spark plugs in the compact engine bay. In a pragmatic stroke of genius, Citroën added a hole in the wind deflector, allowing mechanics to reach the spark plugs with ease. Another compromise involved the engine size, which required creating additional space by encroaching slightly into the passenger footwell. Not all innovations were born of necessity. The DS introduced a novel single-spoke steering wheel with a curved column, designed to reduce injury risk in a collision. This futuristic touch showcased Citroën's commitment to both safety and aesthetics. One of the DS's most groundbreaking features, its curved windshield, epitomized this audacious approach. At the time, no supplier was willing to manufacture such an unconventional design, so Citroën took matters into its own hands, developing and producing the windshield in-house. Despite its complexities and high-tech innovations, Citroën recognized the need for a simpler version of the DS. Just 2 years after the DS's launch, the company introduced the ID, a technically stripped-down variant that offered much of the DS's allure at a more accessible price point. The DS was undeniably complicated, a machine of unprecedented ambition and creativity. Yet it was this very complexity that made it an enduring icon, a car that, despite its flaws and challenges, continues to captivate enthusiasts like Andreas Goldz's. Andreas Goldz's collection wouldn't be complete without an ID model alongside the iconic DS. From the outside, the differences between the two might appear subtle, but they reveal fascinating details upon closer inspection. One of the most noticeable distinctions lies in the roof. While the DS typically boasts a painted roof that enhances its luxurious aesthetic, the ID features an untreated polyester roof, a practical choice that underscores its simpler and more affordable construction. Inside, the differences are even more apparent. The DS's dashboard was revolutionary for its time, crafted entirely from plastic and boasting a futuristic, almost spaceship-like design. In contrast, the ID embraced simplicity. While it still utilized plastic, a significant portion of its components were made from metal, reflecting its role as a more utilitarian alternative. A key mechanical difference was the braking system. The DS introduced the innovative brake mushroom, a hydraulic button that replaced the conventional pedal. In the ID, however, this advanced system was omitted in favor of a more straightforward design. The decision to offer the simplified ID alongside the sophisticated DS proved logical and necessary. It allowed Citroën to reach a broader audience, including less affluent buyers, without sacrificing the essence of the brand. The market response was overwhelmingly positive, solidifying both models. This legacy endures today, as demonstrated by the vibrant Citroën community. At the World Meeting of DS and ID enthusiasts in the Netherlands, Citroën classics from across Europe come together. Enthusiasts, collectors, and spare parts dealers, like Dirk Sassen from Dusseldorf, create a lively marketplace for all things DS and ID. With over 3,000 spare parts in his inventory, Sassen is a lifeline for owners, ensuring these cars remain roadworthy for decades to come. Beyond personal collections, the DS's versatility has cemented its place in history. Its station wagon variant was often repurposed as an ambulance, offering ample space and unparalleled ride comfort, features that made it ideal for patient transport. One such ambulance remained in service until 1991 and stands as a testament to the DS's durability. The DS even found its way into pop culture, making a notable appearance in Back to the Future as a retrofuturistic taxi. The Citroën DS has cemented its place not just in the automotive world but also in popular culture, frequently featured in films as a symbol of modernity, innovation, and extravagance. One notable example is Louis de Funès, who famously pushed the DS to its limits in his comedic escapades, showcasing both the car's capabilities and its timeless appeal. For Dirk Sasson, a lifelong DS enthusiast and spare parts dealer, the DS is more than just a car, it's a way of life. The initials DS serendipitously align with his own, marking a lifelong connection that began in childhood when his parents owned one. Today, Dirk is dedicated to preserving the legacy of these remarkable vehicles. He specializes in reconditioning and supplying parts. From worn clutches to intricate hydraulic components, Dirk's workshop overhauls old parts, guaranteeing quality with meticulous testing. Dirk Sasson and others like him play a vital role in keeping this icon alive, ensuring that future generations can experience the magic. By 1975, the Citroën DS had reached the end of its production run. This extraordinary vehicle, introduced in 1955, had redefined automotive design and technology, but the economic realities of the 70s and Citroën's financial difficulties marked the end of its era. The convertibles, rare and exquisite. Among the DS variations, the convertible models hold a special allure. These were not produced directly by Citroën but were the work of coach builder Henri Chaperon. Chaperon began by purchasing standard DS sedans, removing their roofs, and reworking the rear sections with painstaking craftsmanship. Initially, each convertible was custom-built, but Citroën later contracted Chaperon to create convertibles officially, resulting in the elegant decapotable. Despite their appeal, these open-top DS models were rare, with just over 1,300 units ever made. Their exclusivity, combined with their stunning design, makes them highly sought after by collectors. Innovative features until the end. The DS received a series of upgrades throughout its lifespan, including a facelift in 1967 that introduced twin headlights enclosed behind glass. Ingeniously, the inner headlights swiveled with the steering, allowing the car to illuminate corners, a groundbreaking feature at the time. This purely mechanical system, using rods and springs, epitomized the blend of innovation and simplicity. In 1972, Citroën equipped the DS with a more powerful engine, boosting its top speed to 190 km per hour. Despite these improvements, the DS was becoming increasingly expensive to produce. Its intricate construction and outdated assembly methods made it unprofitable in an era where automakers were under pressure to streamline production and cut costs. The acquisition of Citroën by Peugeot in 1974 signaled the DS's demise. Peugeot, focused on profitability and its lineup, viewed the DS as an outdated and uncompetitive model. On April 24, 1975, the last DS sedan rolled off the assembly line, marking the end of an extraordinary chapter in automotive history. In its two-decade run, more than 1.3 million DS units were produced, a testament to its appeal and influence. The DS was a symbol of bold innovation, a design icon, and a beacon for nonconformists and visionaries. A revolution on wheels. Even today, the DS remains celebrated for its daring design, advanced engineering, and cultural impact. It was a car that broke conventions, a true French revolution on wheels. As collectors and enthusiasts like Dirk Sasson and Andreas Gold keep the DS alive, it continues to inspire, proving that some legends never fade.